Kevin J. Johnston, the #1 name. In the land of the North, he's risen to fame. 40 years deep in the law he's read. Now the CRA shakes in fear and dread. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the fight doesn't end. Corporate debt, he'll make it all good. He's the man the CRA misunderstood. They vanish like mist when Kevin shows up with his legal fist. No more matching, no more lies, just clean-cut books and clear blue skies. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the rules start to bend. The CRA can scream and shout, but Kevin knows how to throw them out. They claim they've got the final say, but Kevin proves there's a better way. He fights for truth, he fights for you, and teaches what the courts won't do. Forever today. Let Kevin J. Johnston show you the way. The expert, the rebel, the man with a plan. He's saving this nation, one client per hand. He's got 40 years of tax law knowing and corporate skills that keep cash flowing. GST, payroll, all in line. He'll save your neck and every dime. He studied law, both civil crime, and makes tax code sound so sublime. With stand-up jokes and punchlines tight, he makes your seminar a night of light. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. 2 million women cast their vote, said Kevin's hot, that's all she wrote. The suits at CRA can't compete, he's beaten them clean without deceit. 100 mil he's saved so far, he's raising truth like a legal star. And if you think you owe the state, he'll show you how to terminate. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say
Welcome. KevinJJohnston here. This is Crimes of the CRA, episode number 73 of the Tax and Money Show that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on freedomreport.ca. We really do appreciate all of you being here tonight. We have a lot of subject matter to cover. My name is KevinJJohnston. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Look, share. I'm going to scold the Rumble people now. All right. You people on Rumble, you know you do this. You've been watching me free of charge for 8 years now. Could you all, like, just right here, right there with the fingers doing this, hit that thumbs up button. All of you right now, please, everybody, hit that button and share this out. I know that Rumble's not as easy as like TikTok over here or Instagram over here to just go with your fingers and like it. I know that Rumble only allows one like per show, but could you do it anyway? Would that be okay? And we're already at 1,600 likes here on TikTok, but that's not enough. You all know that. Come on. Two fingers like this. Come on. It doesn't cost you anything. Just get it going there. TikTok loves it. The Instagram people are doing more. Come on, TikTok. Instagram's beating you. That should never happen. Thank you, everybody over here on Instagram, by the way. Greatly appreciate that. All right, look, we got to cover something fast. This one is extremely important. Have a look at this email I received today. Or is it yesterday? Yesterday. Sent Monday, July 28th, 2025 at 10:23 p.m. from, of course, I'm not going to tell you who it's from. And two, of course, I'm not going to tell you my private email address. The subject matter is corporate debt. Here's what it says. Corporate debts / taxes, including payroll, need some help. And that's it. That's it. No phone number, no name, no details on the corporation. Person didn't use the appropriate contact form. How can I help you if you're going to say you need help? We had a look at the emails that we get last night, and we started to categorize our emails because our AI system is starting to work. And I asked it to find every single email that didn't specifically say anything, such as, talk to me, give me your phone number, I got to talk to you. No, that's not how it works. It'd be a matter of use the contact form. I don't know, like an adult. There you go. Where you give me your full name, your phone number, your email address, and just maybe a brief 2-sentence description of what the problem is. But don't tell me that you need help. What does that mean? You need help doing what? Tying your shoes? Cleaning your floor? I know you need help writing emails. That's what you need. Come on, everybody. You need to understand how to write an email. All right, email has been around. My first email address is way back in the ancient history of my third girlfriend. Like that, we're talking 92. That's when I had my first email address. Remember Rocket Mail and yahoo.com? Remember all those? That's how far back mine goes. One of my coders here had an AOL account, for God's sakes. Email's been around for a while. It's part of the culture now. You cannot do anything online without an email address. How do you not know how to type them? So I'm asking all of you out there, don't come in the chat room here and here and here and tell me that I don't get back to you. Why on God's green earth would I reply to anyone who says, call me? Who are you? Why would I do that? Hey, tell you what, why don't all of you call me? For no reason whatsoever, just, because I sent an email. All right. So please tell me what the real issue is. And if you do have corporate debt and you want to ditch your corporate debt, you want me to buy your corporation from you, use the form at KevinJJohnston.biz, B-I-Z. That one goes directly to me after you fill that out. And if you've got a corporation to sell, yeah, I want it. All right. And I'm going to cover this too, if we don't mind here. Look at this slide right here. I know you guys can't see it here and here, but it says, I do not ask for money in DMs, in direct messages on any social media platform. And everyone, I do not conduct any commerce whatsoever through Telegram. I hate Telegram. Telegram's retarded. All I get is advertising for casinos and pornography from China. That's all that Telegram does for me. I do not do business in Telegram. So we found like 250 plus scam TikTok accounts with this lovely fotch on it. And it all says, give me money. And you're talking to people from Nigeria, I suspect, who are using my face, and you can't tell it's AI, where it's like, hi, my name is Kevin, give me money. Do you know people in Nigeria, the way that their language works, even though I know they speak French, they cannot pronounce Kevin. They pronounce it Kelvin, the same as Koreans do. It's bizarre. How many times have you seen Kelvin K. Johnston? I'm not a temperature scale, right? This is not 69 degrees Kelvin. You know what I mean? This is KevinJJohnston. So, folks, don't go to Telegram. Don't give anybody money through this. If you're giving me money, it's because we have spoken. We have actually spoken on the phone or in a private chat or perhaps on a program like WhatsApp. I am not on Signal. So if you're talking to anybody in Signal, it's a con artist. If you're talking to anybody in anything that is not Zoom, where I invite you from my website address, you're talking to a scammer or an AI deepfake. Okay, this is where you would give us money. Actually, I'm missing the slide. Oh my God, hold on, I got to load this up for you. We had a browser crash just before the show, and I lost a bunch of stuff. Here it is. I think. Boom. Only pay here. My website address. My website address. Kevin J, my middle initial, Johnston. Now let's spell that for everybody who can't see the slide. Kevin, first name. Middle initial, J. Last name, Johnston. It's not Johnson. It's not the American bastardization of my Irish name. Johnston.com. If you're not utilizing that website, don't give anybody money. In fact, would you please all stop DMing me? I'm not going to check it. I don't have time. I say this every single show, but people are still doing it. So please stop. All right. Now, everyone, the lecture is over. Let's talk about that psychopathic individual that works for the Canada Revenue Agency, Brenda Kelly. Remember her from last week? Brenda Kelly. She's at 780-495-5128. That's right, 780-495-5128. Everybody, put that phone number here because all of you are going to call this individual. She's a nut job that said she's above the law. Remember that? She doesn't care where any of your money goes and that the law does not apply to her. And if you don't believe me that she said that, simply go to Rumble, my Rumble channel, KevinJJohnston. Sorry, no, that's right. That's not right. Freedomreport.ca. My mistake. Go to freedomreport.ca. You can listen to it there. It's about a 36-minute conversation where she tells me that she can't talk to me, but then talks to me for 36 minutes. At which point, of course, I absolutely obliterate her with the stupid stuff she's saying. And as it turns out, she tells my client something, and I'd like to play that for everybody now. Let me turn the volume up on this because my client called to say Kevin J. Johnston is my representative, and she didn't like that, so she left this message. I'm adding it for you now. Why is it not there? I hate when browsers crash, don't you? Here we go.
Brenda from CRA. I just wanted to let you know I received, I think it was Thursday or Friday, the authorization form for Mr. Johnston. I just wanted to let you know that CRA no longer recognizes Mr. Johnston as a representative for personal, business, or any other accounts under the administration of CRA. So I will not be talking to him, nor will anybody be responding to anything he sends in on your behalf. Got any questions? Let me know. Other than that, I can't tell you too much other than what I've just said. So we will talk soon. Bye-bye. Brenda from CRA. Right. I just wanted to let you know.
So that is Brenda Kelly from the CRA telling my client that she cannot, nobody at the CRA can talk to me on my client's behalf. Now, here's how it works in Canadian law. And I'm actually going to go through this. We've got some really good slides to go through tonight. But in Canadian law, As soon as somebody is informed that they have a legal representative, whether a licensed lawyer or not, you can no longer talk to that individual, and you must talk to the representative. Now, called my lawyer, my really, really good criminal lawyer, called him, said, hey, I want to make a presentation on Tuesday. I had a good chat with him on Saturday morning. I said, like, what crimes are being committed when someone decides to ignore a lawyer, a paralegal, or a legal agent? Now, the two of us had this long chit chat, and we decided to go through the Criminal Code of Canada together. So let's cover this. In order, I send what is called an AUT-01 form to the CRA. It is an authorization form that says my name is, everyone knows my name, and that I am representing John Smith from this company, and you can only call me. And we do it the smart way. My clients, we send them off an affidavit stating that I am their representative and the CRA is to talk to me. They swear that in. That gets sent into the CRA along with my letter saying that we know you don't want to recognize me, but you don't have the right to choose that. And if you do decide to harass my clients, we will be utilizing criminal law to penalize you. And of course, they all say the same thing. Oh yeah, bring it on. Come get it. I'm not afraid. You soon will be, just letting you know. So I asked again, what crimes have they committed? Here we go with the slideshow. So the CRA client behavior, or CRA agent behavior is calling someone after being told that you're represented by counsel. Is it legal? No. The applicable criminal code section, it is a CRA policy violation. And the offense description is it violates procedural fairness and taxpayer rights, which it does. Now, that one there would be a civil penalty. You are allowed to complain to the ombudsman, but the ombudsman who works for the CRA is equally as useless as every cop in Canada and won't really do an awful lot. But that's okay, because we have more avenues to pursue here. So the next thing to ask would, or next, I guess, law that's being broken here is the CRA agent behavior being repeated unwanted calls or contact. Is it legal? No. It is a violation of Section 264 of the Criminal Code, which is criminal harassment. The offense description is repeated conduct causing fear, intimidation, or distress. And if you are a government employee contacting somebody over and over again, and you don't have a judge's order that allows you to do so, then you're committing a crime. It doesn't matter that you work for the CRA. You're still a criminal. Can't do it. So the next one is CRA agent behavior, threatening legal action without lawful authority. Is it legal? No, it's not legal. It is Section 423, intimidation, using threats to force compliance or to suppress the legal rights of Canadians. That one's 5 years, by the way, everybody. It is not legal to lie to someone and say that I work for the CRA and I can put you in prison if you don't pay your taxes. Completely illegal. The problem is y'all put up with it. Next is here, and this one is my favorite, coercing you to avoid your lawyer, or in this case, telling a client that you won't speak to me and that you keep calling the client. So not only would that be criminal harassment, but it's also going to be illegal. It's an illegal action under Section 139, subsection 2 of the Criminal Code of Canada, obstruction of justice, and that is attempting to interfere with legal representation or processes. Now, I'll give you an example of how readily that's available to we the people to file. For you guys know, I used to serve lawsuits. I used to serve court papers all the time. And people, when I'm ringing their doorbell, they call the cops. They call the cops, right? And the cops would show up and I'd say, hi guys, it's me again. I'm serving this lawsuit and I just identified John. John's behind the door, but he's hiding like a chicken. So could you maybe ring the doorbell and tell John to take this so I can go home? I'm tired. But I could stand there all day. and just keep ringing the doorbell all night until the person took the lawsuit from me. And if the cops forced me to leave, they could be charged with obstruction of justice because they're actually interfering with the court process. As a process server serving a court document, I'm an agent of the court until that paper is served, in which case I'm just a regular guy again. So obstruction of justice, got to be careful with that. So all you CRA people who are watching, and I know you watch, good, you're committing crimes. Don't you worry. I got a plan for all you people, all you not so kind and not so decent individuals. Next, you're misrepresenting of your legal obligations. Again, telling people that they're going to go to jail for not cooperating with the CRA. Is that legal? No, of course it's not legal. Section 380 of the Criminal Code of Canada, fraud. It's fraud because you are gaining money in a fraudulent manner, spitting out lies and deception to do it. So that is knowingly using deception to obtain money or compliance. Here we go. Next one. Demanding money without due process. Is that legal? No, it's not. Section 346. That's extortion, using threats or abuse of position to demand funds. Now, this is where it sucks for the CRA. And this is where it sucks to be a CRA member now that I'm on your case. And that is, if you do not get a court order from a judge, then you, when you're demanding money, are committing a crime. You got to sue people. If you want money from people, you got to sue them. You got to win. Then you got to find a way to enforce the judgment. The CRA tries to bypass that entire system by putting out their phony little unlawful requirement to pay letters, something I will cover a bit later in the show. But they're not lawful commands. You can ignore everything that the CRA says. Kyle, knock it off. Nobody cares about gas prices, okay? Lay off. Next, CRA behavior, filing false information or threatening false audits. Is that legal? No, it's not. This is two crimes. Section 366 is forgery, and Section 368 is use of a forged document. So when you are telling people that we're going to audit you if you don't do what we say, it's fraud. And it is forgery, and it is use of a forged document, intimidation, and so on. So MX Blaze Wing, we have our first left wing nut job in the room tonight, and we are going to block you because we don't need your kind here. You're not welcome, and goodbye. Just like that. The trolls be gone. All right, so you cannot make a false statement of an audit. You cannot threaten an audit for no reason whatsoever. So now, when we are acting outside of statutory powers, is that legal? No, it is not. Section 25, subsection 3 of the Criminal Code of Canada, there is no protection of any government employee for illegal acts. Not a single solitary one. Public officers lose immunity if they act unlawfully. Now, cops can do jail time for breaking the law. So can the CRA. And we're going to make sure that you people do. Next crime, causing mental distress or threatening mental harm. Is that legal? No, it's not legal. Section 264.1, uttering threats psychological, which are threats that cause psychological harm or psychological anything. If you drive someone to suicide, that's called counsel to suicide, also counsel to a crime. You're going to go bye-bye. Now, we're going to make sure they go bye-bye. And I know you CRA people out there, I can see your negative comments. I know you're here. And the reason that the CRA staff are right now in all these room comments that they're making is because you're afraid. Look at the smile on my face. All right. First off, I love what I do for a living. I love hurting the Canadian government. You people are miserable and you should not be allowed to exist. Can't stand you. And what the CRA does is a crime against humanity. And I'm quite happy that we have a couple of full-time investigators now, and we're finding a lot of things about a lot of CRA people. all of which we will divulge in due time. Okay. Kyle, that's it. I warned you. Nobody cares about gas prices. You're out of here. Knock it off. Okay, here we go. Kyle, I didn't block you, but I muted you. It's weird. Guys, this is not gas. This is not the gas show. This is the tax and money show. All right. I don't get people sometimes. So, our last one here. And this is by far my absolute favorite. Impersonating legal authority. For example, claiming to be a judge. Yeah. That is section 130 of the criminal code, personating a peace officer. You cannot claim to have authority that you literally do not and cannot have. No, are we learning yet? I really hope that we are, because these slides took a long time to do. I really hope that this is getting into everyone's head. The CRA is committing a crime every single time they call you, if either myself or another agent out there is representing you. If they bypass your agent or your lawyer to talk to you, those are all of the crimes, all of them, that you can charge them with. And for everybody on TikTok and Instagram who cannot see the slides, I know you can't see them because you got to look at me through my cell phone here. The show is archived at freedomreport.ca. All right, that's my Rumble channel. It's competition to YouTube. Freedomreport.ca. You will find the archive of the show there. It's always available less than 30 minutes after the thing is done. Everybody who's got questions, save them for the last half hour. The last half hour is always question period. Now, Brenda Kelly, I know you're watching. Okay? I know you're watching. I'm clapping. You know why? Because we found your Facebook profile. I don't really want to show you this picture because earlier today, when I looked at it myself, my knees got kind of weak. I fell over and there was some bileless fluids pouring out of my nostrils and mouth. But I figure since I had to endure this individual, I'm going to force you to do it as well. Here she is. We found you, Brenda Kelly. She claims she's married. No, she's not. She could not talk a giraffe into marrying her, okay? Not a chance. And this is what she says on her Facebook profile. All right, here we go. Ladies who work. It's a group that she's in. I'm looking for interesting opportunities. Conversations that relate to my field of expertise. I've been a professional accountant for 25 years, a CPA. I've been employed with Canada Revenue Agency for 25 years with great knowledge of personal income taxes, as well as advanced knowledge of GST and HST issues. Not as much as me, I can tell you that right now. A mom to 3, including a son with high-functioning autism. Hence, I have an excellent understanding of the disability tax credit. And she also knows how to eat cookies and bake cookies and then eat more cookies, followed by eating a cake and some cookies and storing about 15 pounds of sugar in her gullet. This individual is gross beyond reproach, not just physically, but everything about this human being. No, did I say human being? Everything about this creature is positively repugnant, including her entire behavioral process. Her entire outlook on humanity is one that should keep her behind bars away from the rest of us. So you've got people saying, I just sent you a private message. Would you like to chat about DTC? I don't know. It's all junk. So we found her Facebook page. And on top of all that, everyone, we found everything else. More to come in a future show, okay? But we found everything else. I'm just letting you all know we've been working very hard on this individual. She rubbed me the wrong way. She got on my nerves a little bit. You know, it's tough to get on my nerves. It is. She got on my nerves. Why? Because of her disdain and contempt for all mankind. The way that she speaks about human beings, to me, is just absolutely disgusting. And someone like this has got to be stopped. So now, with her telling my client that she does not have to accept me as an agent, and the CRA does not allow me to be a legal agent for anybody, and the list goes on. Now we're going to talk about why she's wrong, and why everybody at the CRA is wrong, and why everybody at the CRA is about to get themselves into a lot of trouble. So here we go. This is the question that I asked both my lawyer and the legal software that we use. The Canada Revenue Agency provides a form AUT-01, which permits taxpayers to authorize a representative to act on their behalf. Under what statute, regulation, or legal authority, if any, does the CRA have the right to deny, an individual the legal representative or counsel of their choosing? So here we go. No, there is no statute or provision in Canadian law, including the Income Tax Act, the Excise Tax Act, or any CRA administrative policy that gives the Canada Revenue Agency the legal authority to deny you the representative or the lawyer of your choice, provided that, one, the representative is properly authorized via an AUT-01 form, because they think that matters, and two, the representative is not engaging in unlawful conduct or presenting false identification. Now, why would I do that? I've been a public figure for a very, very long time. So I want the CRA to know who I am. Under no circumstances would I ever give the CRA a false name or a false identity or false identification. No. I want them to know who they're dealing with. And so they should. So none of that pertains to me. Next, the relevant law under Section 241 of the Income Tax Act, taxpayer information is confidential and can only be disclosed to a representative with the taxpayer's express written authorization, which means when my clients fill out the form and sign everything off and fill out an affidavit telling the CRA that I'm their rep, CRA has to accept it, has no choice. The CRA's own documentation, for example, Representative Client Portal Guide and the Form AUT-01 instructions, confirms that you can authorize anyone you choose to be your representative, including a friend, family member, accountant, or lawyer. I guess we could go one step further and say dog, cat, goldfish, who cares? They cannot decide for you who represents you. There is nobody out there allowed to pick your lawyer for you or pick your representative for you and or bypass your lawyer and go straight to you. We've already covered earlier in the show what crimes they are committing when they do this. So getting now to the next one here is there are exceptions to the rule, but they are very, very limited. Exception, the CRA may delay or reject authorization only in these cases. The form is incomplete. They like that one. They really do. Which is why we have AI filling them out now. There's no mistakes. Or the representative cannot be identified. I can be identified. The CRA has evidence the representative is involved in fraud, impersonation, or abusive tax schemes. CRA, if they had any of that evidence whatsoever, if they actually thought for an instant I was breaking the law, they would have called the cops. And you know the way it works in Canada is when someone files a police report or a complaint against you, the cops call you. They phone you. Hey, I'm trying to act tough on the phone. I'm a loser cop from Peel Regional Police Force. I'm a member of this man, and I do weird things to dogs on the weekend. And I'm trying to scare you, and someone reported that you're stealing. They actually do this. They call you. Not one phone call from the cops from me. Not a single solitary one. Not even about me phoning these representatives. Nothing. Which means everything I's doing is legal. Next, a court order or a criminal investigation bars the individual from acting. Okay, but you got to get a court order. And in order for the CRA to get a court order, that means they actually got to spend money and go to court, which they do not do, if you know what I mean. They just don't do it. It doesn't make them money. The CRA is all about threatening you and frightening you into giving them money, not tackling me in the courts where I know my rights and I know how the court system works, and they would sue me and I would file a defense, and then we have a settlement conference and I'm going to tell them trial, and I have a witness list 200 pages long. Yeah, not just people, pages. I have a lot of people that I want to put on the stand and talk at length about this. I would like a 40-day trial. Imagine that. Imagine what the CRA would do if they had to endure a 40-day trial with me, where I would not be on the stand, mind you. I would be asking them questions day in, day out, getting everything on the record. They don't want that, so that's why they don't sue me. Getting back to that slide there. The authorization is ambiguous. For example, unclear levels of access or scope. Well, I tell everyone the same thing. I'm amazing. Give me level 2 access. Here's my name, phone number. You already have it on file, and leave my client alone. Then we'll go further here. They have no power to deny based on preference. There's no law or policy that allows a CRA agent to deny a specific lawyer, accountant, or agent based solely on their identity, reputation, or prior disagreements of the CRA or by the CRA. That would violate your rights to representation. You're damn right that will. And the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights, specifically right number 15, you have the right to be represented by a person of your choice. Now, that morbidly obese individual that you saw on the screen there told my client today that the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights is just a corporate document illustrating the rules of people interacting with the corporation known as the CRA. She actually admitted this. She admitted the CRA is a corporation and those are corporate rules. Okay, so if the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights are just corporate rules, then so are the CRA's rules. That goes back to the theory that I brought forward, that you don't have to pay tax so long as you don't do a tax return, so long as you keep your mouth closed about what you do, and so long as you object to everything they do and sue them and file criminal charges, you don't pay tax. Because you got to remember, I told you about this before. Out of 250 million tax returns in 5 years, the best they could do was 52 convictions. And these people all pled guilty to other crimes not related to the CRA. CRA got nothing. They got nothing. If they had something, they would have done something to hurt me, and they've done nothing to me. Losers, all of them. Next. So in the conclusion I want to draw here, you're entitled by law to choose a legal representative or agent of your choice. If the CRA attempts to deny your chosen representative without a written legal cause, it is a breach of administrative law, potentially discriminatory, and grounds for a formal complaint, judicial review, or even a lawsuit in federal court. Now you got that right. Next. I asked this question. What policy, law, or chapter in the Income Tax Act forces the CRA to provide that information in writing? So if they don't like me, can I force them to get this information to me in writing? Here's the answer. There is no single section in the Income Tax Act that explicitly says the CRA must provide reasons in writing when denying a representative. However, that requirement arises from binding legal principles in Canadian administrative law reinforced by case law, CRA policy, and the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights. Here's the legal policy foundation that forces the CRA to provide reasons in writing when refusing a representative. 1, common law duty of procedural fairness. That's administrative law. The Supreme Court of Canada has ruled that any administrative decision affecting a person's rights, especially with tax, must be transparent and justified in writing when requested. Key case, Baker versus Canada. The Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, 1999, 2 SCR 817, held that procedural fairness requires written reasons for decisions that significantly impact individuals, particularly where rights are denied. And that is applied here if the CRA refuses your authorized representative who is acting on your behalf in legal and financial matters, They are legally obligated to provide a written explanation under the duty of fairness. All right, everyone. So let's take a quick break from the slides here. That's a lot of information that I'm hitting you with here. All of this that the CRA is doing is utilizing the Income Tax Act, which is a set of rules for them to frighten all of you into giving them money. And you're giving it to them. You're giving it to them without a fight. Just like during that COVID nonsense, you put a mask on without a fight. You got needles without a fight. You let your boss walk all over you and fire you without a fight. You let society scream at you if you weren't wearing a mask without a fight. Yeah, you just let the government take everything you have without a fight. And here's the CRA continuing to take everything you have, and you're not fighting. I'm giving you all the ammunition that you need to fight. I need you all to start fighting. One of the most common things that I hear from everybody when I say time to fight, I don't want backlash from the CRA. If you get punched in the face by a bully and you punch the bully back, he's going to retaliate. He's going to punch you again. But eventually, if you pick up the tire iron and shatter a few bones and then break his leg and maybe poke an eye out or something, then he knows you're in charge and he's going to leave you alone. There will be backlash. It goes back and forth. That's how it is. That's the animal kingdom. That's human life. That's just how the universe functions. So you're going to sit there and say that you won't fight the CRA because you're worried about backlash from what? What are they going to do? Come to your house fully armed? Are they going to come to your house, physically pick it up, put it on the back of a truck and drive away with it? What exactly is it that all of you think that they're going to do? And I hear a lot of you say, well, I'm not going to sue my bank because I don't want backlash. What are they going to do? Close your bank account? There's a lot of banks in Canada. There's a lot. There's a lot in the States too. Right? You guys can do all of this. You can just take your money, go somewhere else. You can fight, backlash, go somewhere else. Of course, there's always going to be backlash. Look how much backlash I've had to endure in Canada with me protecting all of you from that COVID nonsense. All right. Look what happened. I saved 5 million lives. I saved a lot of you millions of dollars because you were taught the law on my show. I did 7 months of prison time in solitary confinement for you, for all of you. The government gave me backlash, and I'm all the better for it. The whole country knows my name. They gave me about $55 million worth of free advertising. Front page of the Star, front page of the Sun, front page of the Calgary Herald. I'm all over CBC's website. I'm all over TikTok, and Twitter's the big one. Back before Musk turned it into a conservative platform, the left-wing nuts had my face everywhere. So, yeah, there was backlash. Next, I don't cry about having been incarcerated. Again, I'll remind everyone, I proudly wear my jail slippers. I'm wearing them right now. I wear them every single day. Whenever I go to the beach, I wear these things and I wear them with pride. Yeah, backlash. So what? I'm still here. I'm an adult. All right. I deal with the consequences of my actions and I deal with the backlash that my actions bring forward. So everybody, if you're going to be afraid of everything, you lose. Please stop being afraid. Let's continue with these slides here because we're almost done that. All righty, so to the next one here. So the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights. This is interesting because the staff that work for the CRA, they all say, well, we don't have to abide by the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights. Well, you know, they got that one wrong. They absolutely do. Taxpayer's Bill of Rights, this binding internal CRA policy framework, CRA publication RC17, includes right number 5. You have the right to complete, accurate, clear, and timely information. Right number 11, You have the right to expect the CRA to be accountable, which they have never done. Right number 15, you have the right to be represented by the person of your choice. The CRA, if the CRA denies your representative but does not give a written reason, they have violated rights 5, 11, and 15 under their own policy. And this policy was actually mandated by the government to protect we the people. It's one of the few things the government got right. The CRA is legally bound to follow its internal guidelines unless there is a lawful reason not to, as per Dunsmuir versus New Brunswick 2008 SCC 9, in which case the government was found to have operated outside of the realm of good taste and, of course, the law, and they lost. So, everyone, that's the CRA. When you hire me to be your legal agent and they say that, no, Kevin can't do it, join me. Let's file lawsuits. Let's hunt people like that individual, Kelly, whatever her name is. Let's get that rocking for us so that we can, one CRA rep at a time, start taking their houses from them, taking their cars, and locking them up. Alrighty, so I think we're down to this one. Access to information and privacy. Now, this is really cool. The ATIP, also known as the FOIP, the Freedom of Information Act. Under the Access to Information Act and the Privacy Act, you can demand a copy of internal reasons or memos for refusal. CRA is required to keep a record of any denial of authorization provided upon request under federal information law. Failure to do so is a violation of the Act and may result in an order by the Office of the Information Commissioner. So that means, everyone, that you file your Freedom of Information Act form. And whenever I do that, I ask for about 40 plus things. And they only get 30 days by law to find those things and get them to me. The Freedom of Information Act form is powerful. You send that in along with $5. And you send it in by registered mail so you know they got your $5. They have always failed to send the FOIP. One client of mine, out of all the ones that we filled out, actually got a copy of it. It was 3 pages. It had about 30 words on it, nothing to do with what we asked for. The problem is the client said, I don't want backlash. So they didn't sue the CRA. I was prepared for the fight. I was ready to go all the way to the top. They didn't want to do it. So I told my client, like, when you grow a pair, you call me because there's nothing more I can do for you now. If you won't go the distance, I can't make you. It's not my job to put a gun to anyone's head and say, let me do your taxes my way. No, that's not how it works. If you decide you're going to quit, I will let you. I'm not even going to try to convince you. I'll let you. All right. So Form AUT01 Policy Manual. This is for CRA internal use. The CRA's internal guidance for processing the AUT01 form states that where authorization is refused or removed, the CRA must notify the taxpayer and explain the reason. All right. Now, in one recorded conversation, that same morbidly obese individual that you've seen here tonight, that CRA representative, Brenda Kelly, said to the client that we don't like Kevin J. Johnston's behavior. Yeah, well, that's not a reason to deny me to be someone's legal representative. It just is not a reason at all. Just for the record, I don't like the CRA's behavior, but they still do it. Next, the summary. While there's no clear single chapter in the Income Tax Act, the requirement for the CRA to provide written reasons when denying a representative is backed by Baker versus Canada, a Supreme Court. It's binding Supreme Court decision. Taxpayer Bill of Rights, CRA policy enforceable via complaint and federal court. The privacy and access laws, statutory and enforceable, and the AUT01 policy manual, internally binding CRA agents operationally. All right, so they are going against their own policies, and if the CRA is going to go against their own policies, we should too. Every single one of us should. Because remember, everyone, we do not work for the CRA. So we do not need to follow their policies. The Income Tax Act is a series of rules for the CRA to follow, not us. The Income Tax Act it's a junk document. It's garbage. It's just it teaches the CRA how to lie. That's all that it is. It's not enforceable at all. I've proven that one to you time and time again as well. Same with the Excise Tax Act and the GST Act and all the other ones. It's all nonsense, all of it. But you got to grow a pair if you want to fight and win. It's not that it's a difficult fight. It's just time consuming. That's all. So if you start an action against the CRA, you can expect that same action to be on the table 1.5 to 2 years from now, because the courts in Canada are backed up beyond belief. They did that to themselves during that nonsense pandemic thing. Right? That was them. They didn't have to shut the courts down. They chose to. And now the province of Ontario is 7 years behind. And as for Quebec, that court system is run by raccoons, mentally retarded raccoons, hopped up on coke and LSD. They do not know what they're doing. If you've ever been to a Quebec courthouse, everyone's running around speaking fake French. They don't know what they're doing. They really, it's like squirrels. Take a garbage bag full of squirrels, just dump it down and throw peanuts on the floor. And they'll scatter. That's what a Quebec courthouse runs like. So would you take them seriously? They're 7 to 10 years behind on their court cases. It's ridiculous to consider that anything is going to go right for the CRA when the courts are that scrambled. And I'm proud to say this. I don't know if I had anything to do with this, but yeah, why not? The CRA has laid off 5,000 people. This institution is going bankrupt, and they're going bankrupt pretty damn fast. They're not going to be around in between 5 and 10 years. All right. And that's how that works. All right. That is what happens when the CRA representatives out there pull these silly stunts. So I figure what I should probably do at this point, maybe we should call Brenda Kelly. Let's do that right now. All right. Brenda Kelly is at 780-495-5128. Is it ringing? Can you guys hear that? Can you hear it? Can we hear it? Do you guys hear that?
Thanks for calling Canada Revenue Agency. You've reached confidential voicemail of Brenda Kelly. I'll enter the office returning Thursday, July 31st. Please leave me your name, number, and a brief message, and I'll return your call on Thursday. Please don't leave any confidential information, as this is an unstirred line. Thanks, and have a great week.
Please leave your message after the tone. After leaving a message, you can hang up or press pound for more options.
Hi, Brenda Kelly of the Canada Revenue Agency at telephone number 780-495-5128. This is Canada's best looking man, KevinJJohnston, the individual who is representing my client, Jay. You know who he is. And it doesn't matter, sweetheart, that you do not want to talk to me or that you received an email from Bob Hamilton's office about the fact that none of you wish to deal with me because I'm just so remarkably awesome and cute beyond belief. Oh my, I'm looking at myself right now and I cannot believe how handsome I am. By the way, we've made this entire show about you. You might want to watch the show, get a real sense of what laws you are breaking by bypassing me and contacting my clients. And I know that you challenged me to go ahead and file criminal charges against you. Okay, that's fine. I'm completely okay with your challenge. But you know my phone number. Why don't you give me a call? Let's work this out. All I want to do is represent my client because that is what I am paid to do. And you are unfortunately breaking the law, which does make you a criminal. Why don't you stop being a criminal for one day in your life? Get me that phone call. Let's deal with this like adults for the first time in your life. Yeah. We'll talk soon. You got my number. Do it. All right. So that's her. These people who work for the CRA, they've been told by the CRA that they have what is called Crown immunity. And all that that means is that the crown, if you've ever seen that stupid diagram that Canada has, where you've got God, this like white guy with a beard and a big glowing head, and then a crown, and then the monarch of England, and then, you know, Canada. Yeah, that's right. So the crown, which supposedly was whipped up by God and handed down to the monarch of England, because that seems to matter for some reason. Yeah, the crown. Yeah, the crown. They say that that magical crown presented by a deity protects them from everything that they do wrong. No, it does not. You see, I've read crown immunity laws, and all that it means is if you work for the Canada Revenue Agency and someone sues the CRA, that the CRA's lawyers will pay for you to be protected. That is all. Nothing more than that. Crown immunity does not allow you to break the law. All right? So the CRA staff, they need better training. They really need better training because we, you, and all of you out there, we are all eventually going to join into a unified force. We're going to fight these people, and we're going to start tracking them down at home, and we're going to start putting liens on their homes, and we're going to start humiliating them on a public scale because they need it. They need to have this happen to them. They just steal from people for a living. We got to go to war with these people. The cops won't do anything about arresting these folks. We got to do it through the court system ourselves. And on Monday, there will be a form available for any of you to be able to download it and file a police complaint, followed by taking it to the courthouse in your local area and filing criminal charges against the CRA. Now, for everybody who has questions about me doing your payroll and me buying your corporation and all your corporate debt from you, stick around. I'm answering all of those questions for the last half hour of this show. I still got a couple of more things I got to cover here. If you thought the first half was important, wait till you hear this. There is something that the CRA does. Completely illegal. It's extortion, it's fraud, and a few other charges, where they will freeze your corporate bank account if you owe corporate money, and they will then make a deal with you completely under duress, knowing that you do not know the law. This is a letter here. Dear Sir or Madam, subject, Section 227.1 of the Income Tax Act, 83 of the Employment Insurance Act, 22.1 of the Canada Pension Plan Act, and 323 of the Excise Tax Act. Now, they start letters off this way because when you see these numbers on these things that really don't matter, you think that they matter. Now, when cops ring your doorbell, according to Section 210 of the Act of we gotta do. That's all that it is. It's bluster. It's mumbling. It's like listening to Goofy, you know, that cartoon character on Walt Disney, the one that laughs. That's what it is. It's nonsense. So when they start a letter off like that, immediately you're probably already afraid to see what is next. Let's continue with this letter. So it says liability of directors. Of course, I blocked out the corporate name. This is what they do. All right, I got to explain the rest of this letter because I'm going to read this thing out to explain to you how frightening this behavior really is. They freeze your account and they tell you that you legally have to take personal accountability for your corporate debt. And that defeats the purpose of having a corporation. They tell you this, so you have to do this. And conveniently, they will unlock your bank account if you take personal accountability for your corporate taxes. And conveniently, they send you a contract already written up on their own letterhead stating that you want to give the CRA money. So let me read the contents of this letter now. It says, I am the director of blah, 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 Ontario Incorporated, which at this date owes the Canada Revenue Agency $996,599.86 for unremitted source deductions and unremitted goods and services tax under the Income Tax Act, the Canada Pension Plan Act, the Employment Insurance Act, and the Excise Tax Act. So right off the bat, they've written a contract for you and threatened you into signing it. Under Section 2271 of the Income Tax Act, Section 83 of the, it says that the directors of a corporation may, not will, but may be held jointly and severally liable with the corporation for paying the amount plus interest and penalty the corporation did not remit under subsection 135-3 of the Income Tax Act, and some other stupid stuff they quote. Okay. So when they use the word may, that's a trick, everyone. If they say that you may be held liable, it means you will never be held liable. Yeah. The word may means never. Let me give you an example. If you were in the province of Ontario and you were born in the 70s like myself, you would have received a medical health card. Now, if you guys remember, in Canada, our driver's licenses and our health cards never had photographs on them, ever. I still have my red and white Ontario health card that was given to me in 1974. And I remember the day, I was 3 years old when I got it. I remember it. It doesn't even have the magnetic strip on the back because it went through a washing machine. It's broken. I glued it back together. And I would go to doctor's offices and I would present that card and they'd say, you know, you should really get the green one. I don't know why you still have the old one. I don't know why you did the green. Right. Like there's just this glitch. Their brains shut off when they see the red card because they've been told everybody should, not must, should have the green one. So I got into it with a woman once saying, I don't want the green one. The green one has an expiration date. This red one doesn't. Yeah, but they said that they may one day, but then, and they're never going to do it, and we're not going to take it. So I asked her to show me the letter that said I could not use the red and white Ontario health card. And it said, may. We may discontinue the use of the red card. They never did. If you still have the red and white health card that was granted to you in the 1970s, it is still valid today because they use the word may shut it down. We may discontinue it. Just like the CRA says, as a director, you may, maybe, perhaps, one day, possibly, could be held accountable for corporate debt. They're all full of crap. Every single one of them. But that's what this contract says. The CRA writes this contract for you to swear to them that you owe money and you're going to give it to them. Wow. Continuing on in this contract. So it says the corporation did not remit of the Income Tax Act. Okay, so it lists like 5 things. The CRA, this is the extortion part. The CRA has agreed to release the requirement to pay dated February 14th, 2025 on my bank account issued under Section 317 of the Excise Tax Act. However, the CRA will release the requirement only after I sign this document. Therefore, I, in his name, will personally guarantee not to use or rely on the agency's agreement to release the requirement to pay as an argument or grounds for defense in proceedings resulting from applying the provisions of Section 2271 of the Income Tax Act, Section 83 of the Employment Insurance Act, and Section 21(1) of the Canada Pension Act, and Section 323 of the Excise Tax Act. Okay, what does all that mean? It means that they have tricked you by freezing your bank account. They've tricked you into signing a contract that takes all your corporate debt and puts it on you and your house. Now we're going to give you back your bank account and you can't sue us. That's what all that says. You believe this? They freeze your bank account to force you to sign this contract, which they conveniently write for you. Think about that. Why are you talking to these people? Why are adults so afraid of this institution that you will forego your own rights and sign crap like this and have your houses taken away from you? There we are. I'm going to finish this thing off. The CRA will tell you to go see a lawyer. And on this piece of paper, it says, I was advised that I should get independent legal advice about this document before signing it. And there's a little X where it says, I got that advice. And then you put your name on it, your signature, and the whole 9 yards. And the guy's name is Ian Ching. He is badge number 1284. So, everyone, the story of this particular client is he did get legal advice from the lawyer. And I heard the conversation for myself. The lawyer says, oh, you're fucked. Yeah, you're effed. Now you got to pay him. That's what his lawyer said. You got to pay him. So I jumped on the phone with this Ian Ching guy. And I said, look, Mr. Ching, not for nothing here, but you've committed a crime. And we are going to be contacting the police should this conversation not go the way that I want. I explained every crime he committed by locking down someone's bank account and then extorting them to sign a contract that they didn't understand and that they didn't even want to read and they did not want to sign. That's it. So I got this guy to reverse it. He actually reversed it and gave me the 120 days that I require to get the taxes fixed. All right. So let's think that through. You guys out there, you guys and girls out there cannot sign anything the government puts before you. Do not sign anything. If you have a corporation, you as the director are not responsible for that debt just because the CRA says you are. You will eventually at some point get a bill from the CRA that they will do their very best to enforce. But just because they say you have to sign this thing now, doesn't mean you have to sign it. Call the goddamn police. I got this guy extorting me. He just said it in writing. I get my bank account back only if I promise to give away my house by having debt moved over. No, people sign this stuff all the time. And you know what the worst, this is the one I hate the most. I didn't know what I was signing. I wanted my bank account back. I don't know. It's the CRA. It's the government. You gotta do what the government says. I didn't know. That's what it sounds like when an adult says this to me. I didn't know. You could have. You could have made some phone calls. If your lawyer says you've lost, get rid of the lawyer. Bad lawyer. The lawyer's job is to get you to win. I'm not a licensed lawyer, and I'm winning every single day against the CRA because I know more than the average lawyer does, number one. Number two, I don't have a license to lose. So I go to war with these people, and we get things done. And now I've got private investigators all over the country hunting CRA agents down at home, and we are finding them. And we're going to be taking their homes away. So please, everybody, stop. The CRA is threatening you to try to get you to sign these documents that you probably don't understand and you're probably not getting any legal counsel on. And this is just a trick. It is extortion. It's a crime. You need to contact the police. You need to go to the courthouse and file criminal charges. You need to protect yourselves. You need to become adults for the first time in years. You are allowing foreigners who work for the CRA to dictate the terms of your own mental health to you, to dictate the terms of your life to you. I use the term all the time, third world trash. Nobody from the third world tells me what to do. Nobody. If you aren't paying me to do something, you're not telling me what to do. The only way for you to get me to do something that I don't want to do is you need to be armed and that weapon has to be pointed at me. And you'll get what you want so long as you have the weapon. But then me knowing that you've got the weapon, believe me, within a day, I'll have one. And when I'm pointing the weapon at you, it is going to be a very ugly, very different situation. I don't like being threatened. I really don't. I don't like being touched by aggressors. I really don't. I don't want people phoning me, telling me that I have to give them money because someone says so. And for those of you out there who are wondering about backlash, just look my name up on Google. You'll see Kevin J. Johnston gets sued by a baby-killing terrorist. and loses $2.5 million, and then loses another $1 million. I have $11 million of judgments by loser judges across Canada against me. That's right. Why? Because they are left-wing judges who don't like me. I don't like the left wing, and the left wing doesn't like people who don't like the left wing. So what do these judges do? Make me lose in court. That is what they do. And I haven't paid a penny. And when I say I haven't paid a penny, I literally mean $0.00. And I have even told everybody, including judges, before the lawsuits even happen in a trial, if I lose, I'm not paying because I don't recognize the authority of this court. I'm not interested in any of these proceedings. It's a dog and pony show. That's all that it is. So I lose. I owe 11 million bucks plus interest and so on. And a lot of people like to remind me, hey, aren't you the guy that got sued by that guy? Yeah. And he won and I lost and I didn't pay him. And he spent what, 400 grand to try to get money out of me? Not money very well spent. Suing me is stupid, by the way, because I am going to waste your time. The courts dictate the following rules. I'm allowed to file a defense, so I will. And then I'm allowed to enter into a settlement conference with you, so I will. And during the settlement conference, I'm going to, it's called without prejudice. None of it's on record. So I'm going to call you names. I'm going to probably rip a couple of good belches. I'll make sure I got at least 3 or 4 cans of club soda so that I can just fill the microphone full of Belgian. And eventually they're going to say, okay, the settlements conference is over because we can't get proper composure. No problem. Trial. By the way, I will be submitting my witness list. And then we go to a trial. And the trial goes on and on and on. And you're spending money on a lawyer. And I'm not spending any money on lawyers at all. I don't care. I'd rather you just spend all your money and stand there at the podium and complain. Like this loser lawyer, his name's Jonathan Lysis. He's like this 6 foot tall, lanky guy with bald head, big nose. He walks all crooked and whatnot. Guy's absolutely terrified of me, right? But he's tough when he's in the courtroom. And then when he's outside the courtroom, he just like skulks away. Well, this guy stood in a courtroom once, and for 6 straight hours, KevinJJohnston is this, and he's not very nice, and he said this thing this time. And KevinJJohnston's running for mayor of Calgary, and he's got a slogan that says, make Calgary great again. And we've heard that kind of talk before. And KevinJJohnston says he's the biggest Donald Trump fan in the world. And KevinJJohnston doesn't like the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. And then that's all that it was. And this guy paid the lawyer $400 and whatever an hour to register all these complaints. And I'm here like this. I'm not embarrassed about what he's saying. I'm embarrassed for him bringing this to the courts. But then I was even more embarrassed about the fact that I'm a Canadian citizen, knowing that our court system would allow this harangue to go on. An American judge would just like smash a gavel, which Canadian judges don't have, and say, get out of my courtroom. An American judge would throw that kind of nonsense right out the door. Nope, not in Canada. No, you have to listen to these judges or lawyers complain. So what I'm trying to say, everybody, is with all these big, powerful lawyers and all these lawsuits I've lost, I've given them nothing. I'm completely judgment-proof. And this is what I'm teaching all of you. Grow a pair. All right, guys? Everyone, you all could be in the same position that I'm in, and that is to never pay taxes again for the rest of your lives. You all say you want that. So let's do it. Let's do it. Go to my website, but don't communicate with me on my website until you're actually ready to do it. Don't be a tire kicker. All right. I don't have time. Now, some people, it's strange that they'll book consultations with me, and then they'll just tell me their life story, and they don't want to do anything because they're afraid of backlash. If you're going to be afraid of backlash from the CRA, like, I could refund your money now and free the spot up for somebody else. Like, you got to be serious about life, man. You really, really, really need to take life by the balls. All right. It's your life. It's your house, it's your car, it's your money. Protect it. I got one more thing I want to cover tonight. One more thing. Now, remember we went back. Let's talk about this Mark McDonald guy here. For those who are on TikTok and Instagram, unfortunately, you cannot see the letter that I'm currently showing on the screen. This is to Mark McDonald. He considers himself the CRA tough guy. He's just a loser that works out of the Victoria, BC office. He likes to threaten people. He likes to scream at people on the phone. I've got a whole bunch of recordings with this guy where he likes to say the F word a lot. He really likes to swear, this guy. When he tells me I'm not allowed to talk to him, I can only talk to him by fax. So I sent him that fax with a Pac-Man. He's the Pac-Man. It actually says, Mark McDonald, CRA tough guy, 236-464-3061. And there's a phallus on the right side. That's me. And it says Kevin J. Johnston, Canada's #1 tax expert. And the phallus is going into Pac-Man's mouth. So you get the joke. And I sent that fax into every fax number the CRA has, to which I have received absolutely no communication from that auditor whatsoever. None. Why? Because he's got nothing. He's got nothing. There's nothing he can do about it. Now, this guy started communicating with me because I bought a corporation based out of the Vancouver area. I bought it. What came with it was a lot of debt and some really good assets. Like this plasma cutting torch, I swear to God, I was holding a lightsaber. It just went and would go right through steel. Unreal. Sold it, made some good money. But that's what I do. I buy corporations. Sometimes I get some pretty good assets out of the deal. Now, what they do here is I get a phone call from some loser at the CRA telling me that they're acting on behalf of Mark McDonald and that they want to serve me some court paperwork. I said, you do whatever you want. I don't give a crap what you do. So they do. And you look here. There you go, Instagram. Yeah, it says federal court seal. Look at that. TikTok. Oh, wait, it's blurry. Come on. Oh, it's blurry. Oh, the cameras are annoying. Federal court seal. And then over here on Rumble, federal court, April 2nd, right? It says filed in federal court. It looks official, right? I'm supposed to be concerned about this. Let's read it. So in the matter or the assessment or assessments by the Minister of National Revenue under the Excise Tax Act, here we go again, against my company, the writ of seizure and sale to the sheriffs of British Columbia, and the sheriffs are just a private company who run around licensed by the province of British Columbia to harass Canadians, under a certificate made under the Excise Tax Act and registered in the court of the 2nd day of April 2025 in favor of His Majesty the Chinless Dauphin, known as the King of Canada. You are directed to seize and sell the real property or immovables and the personal property or movables within your jurisdiction of my corporation. Okay. But as this guy walked in the door, we figured something out. This is page 2, everyone. This is page 2. So what's the first thing that I do when I get a court order or a federal court document is I start going through it, reading every single page. And on page 2, it is issued by, and there's a blank line, issued by, blank line. You see there on TikTok? Blank line, blank line. So it's issued by nobody. There's no name. Followed by, this writ was issued at the request of, and inquiries may be directed to, the Assistant Director of Revenue Collections in Edmonton at 780-495-3428. This is a number I will be calling tomorrow, by the way. Followed by page 3. And again, I'm looking for a name here. So apparently I've got to pay the King of Canada $30. If you look there, look. There you go. See? His Majesty, like that. Oh, God, man. Prince Chuck or King Chuck is entitled to $30 on this piece of paper. All right. And also an additional $31,000, which they are basing on a tax return that was done incorrectly 4 years ago by some loser accountant, and which will go away when I do the taxes, because the corporation I bought actually didn't have any sales ever. The CRA just put a whole bunch of debt on it because they felt like doing it, and the guy sold me his debt. So that's fraud on the CRA's part. But there's still no names on this. So then I move on to page, I guess, A1. And it says, there's no judge. Isn't that interesting? So there it is. Federal court. Come on, stop blurring out. Federal court. And federal court, there you go. And over here on Rumble, federal court, they say this is a federal court document. But if you have a look at it, that's not a judge. That is a CRA collections officer, director of collections. All right, what's this person's name? Jennifer Cave, maybe. All right, so see that, guys? Look at that, right over here. All right, this apparent court order is not signed by a judge. It is signed by a collections agent at the Canada Revenue Agency. Then I go to the last page here, and I'm still looking for a judge's name on this. I'm looking for a judge's signature anywhere on this, and there isn't. This is just the address of the tax office that issued this false document. This document is fraudulent. The CRA claims that they do not own the Tax Court of Canada. And the Tax Court of Canada claims that they do not work for the CRA. But the CRA takes federal tax court documents and says, yeah, go take this guy's property. My property. And then they don't even take it to the actual court. Like, there's no seal on this. There's no stamps on this. And there's no judge's name or signature on this. Now, here's the mind-blowing part. As if this wasn't bad enough. I had a conversation, and I'm not telling you who it was because it was a wonderful conversation, and it was fabulous to speak to a regional bank manager for a bank that I have been trying to speak to for a very long time. For everybody out there who says, the CRA froze my bank account, the CRA drained my bank account, I gotta say it again. The CRA does not have access to your bank account. The CRA do not lock it, and they don't take the money out. They send this. They send this illegal paperwork not signed by a judge. Not signed by a judge. They send that with a cover letter saying requirement to pay. And they tell the bank, you're required to pay us. That's it. And the banks could say, hey, Mr. Lawyer that we pay $1,500 an hour to, we just got a court document here and there's no judge on it. What do we do? And the lawyer would say, let me see it. The lawyer would look at it. The lawyer would say, it's bogus. The lawyer would send them off a letter to cease and desist. And that would be the end of it. The paperwork I got is the exact same paperwork that your bank gets when the CRA wants your money from the bank. And now you know everything that I have been saying. Now you're actually seeing it for yourself. The only thing I didn't have to prove all this to you was this type of BS paperwork from the CRA. Now I've got it. And I'm keeping this. And I'm publishing this. I'm telling all of you about it. The Canada Revenue Agency, they use the stamp here from the federal tax court. A collection agent signs it. A judge does not even look at this. And then this gets sent out as if it's some kind of official document. And everybody wonders why I have absolutely zero respect for the CRA, and I have zero respect for the Canadian courts, and I have zero respect for the entire institution known as the Dominion of Canada, because this is allowed to go on. If the CRA is allowed to fake court paperwork, Can I? What would happen if I did that? What would happen if you did that? What would happen if you did that? What would happen if any of you did that? Yeah, we'd be charged. We'd probably do 30 days in jail for forgery. I'm sure of it. So everybody, cat's out of the bag. And now what we need to do is call Mark McDonald. And this is the craziest guy who works for the CRA. I want everybody to call this guy at 236-464-3061. If you're on Rumble, I'm going to put the phone number here. And there he is. Everybody, please call Mark McDonald, 236-464-3061. He calls himself a special case manager, auditor, loser, whatever he is. But he's very quick to anger. He is absolutely going to be swearing at you and so on. And I told all of you, record the call, because the funniest phone call from any of you getting on this guy's nerves. I used to say it's $100. I'm going to give you $500 of my own money. I'm going to give you $500 if you got the funniest video talking to this clown online. So I'm just going to call Mark McDonald right now. Let's give him a phone call.
You reach Mark McDonald, complex case officer at the Canada Revenue Agency. I'm currently away from the office, returning Tuesday, August 5th. Leave your name and telephone number. I will return your call upon my return. In the event this is an urgent matter, you may call Maria Sabank at 833-721-2781, Deanne Bailey at 250-686-1635, or Warren Bentley at 778-533-0976.
This message is for Mark McDonald of the Canada Revenue Agency at 236-464-3061. I just want to say thank you very much for the fraudulent document that you and this S. Gill guy put together, along with Jennifer Cove or Cave, or however you say her name. Mark, I'm disappointed in you, Marky baby. You used a federal court stamp on a piece of paper that's attached to a couple of other pieces of paper that are not signed by a judge. But we were led to believe by the sheriff's office that it is signed by a judge, Marky. That is illegal. My goodness gracious. Oh my God. But you're on vacation. I'm pretty sure you're at some gay club resort right now doing things to other men that, you know, should never be talked about. I know you'll talk about it though. And in the meantime, I just want to say this, Mark. I really miss you a lot. It's been a long time since we spoke. We've had more than 60 conversations, and I really enjoy talking to you because you're such a nice guy. But Mark, listen, we got to do something here, okay? Okay. If you break the law again, I have no choice but to sleep with your mom, okay? So I'm going to start sleeping with your mom every time you break the law. You've got my phone number, buddy. Give me a call. Let's talk about this, okay? Marky, I miss you, and I hope to talk to you very soon. There he is, Mark McDonald. This guy's a clown. Now, nothing's going to happen with this phone call. Nothing is going to happen, okay? I see all of you. You got hearts flying up, and you got the laughy faces and so on. I mean, you can all do this too. It's a phone call. It's just a loser. People who work for the CRA are nothing special. They're losers, all of them. And I'm going to maybe reinforce a bit of an understanding here as to what I am referring to when I say loser. And that is a select type of brain is required to do a mundane job where you're sitting in a chair all day making phone calls, threatening people. You have a very limited capacity to integrate into society. You are a robot, someone who needs instructions given to them because you're absolutely desperate to follow instructions. People who work for the Canadian government and the Canada Revenue Agency have no imagination. They are bereft of anything creative in their thought processes, none of them would ever survive in the private sector. So they are perfectly suited for a job that requires no thinking. And what they do is they indoctrinate them into this religion called the CRA, where they tell them, call people, swear at them, lie to them, do whatever else, and you've got crown immunity, and you can do whatever you want because you're the CRA. And they get away with it because none of you do anything about it. So when I'm calling losers like Mark and losers like that morbidly obese Kelly, whatever her name is, you can do the same thing. Each and every one of you can do the same thing. Someone says here, you won't live long enough, unfortunately, to see it. Does that mean that Canadians won't get brave within the next 35 years? Or is that a threat? I'm not sure. Could you maybe clarify if you're threatening me or telling me that I think you're saying you're on my side in that Canadians won't grow a pair before my lifespan expires in 35 years. Just clarify if you don't mind. And if it's a threat, it's still okay. I don't take offense to stuff like that. Okay, everyone, I've said my piece. You now know every single crime the CRA commits when they are making these phone calls to you. Okay, yeah, woke, I get you. Okay, so the live is being restricted for some audiences here. I don't know. Maybe TikTok doesn't like some of the things I'm saying. So some people may not see it, but whatever, we're still on. All right. It is question time, everybody. The floor is now opened up for questions. Looks like Rumble. I've never seen Rumble so busy, so let's address a couple of questions here if we could. I've already answered questions about XRP like 3 shows ago, so I won't do that except for to tell anybody here who wants to pay for my services. We give 10% discounts for anybody who pays cash in Canada or who pays in cryptocurrency. There you go. There we go. Got a good question here, though. JMGC says, I sold my shares in the States worth $1 million. How do I move some funds into Canada? I have to open up a cluster of corporations for this to happen. And in the corporate clustering that I'm talking about there, we're going to have an umbrella corporation that has no investment and numerous corporations below it in different provinces that have investment. I got to get you into a numbered corporation or a named corporation, here in Panama, 1 or 2 in the United States. The Panama Corp will own your American Corp. Your American Corp will own the Canadian Corp. We can move the entire Panamanian Corp into a family trust, and everything is going to be fine. It's a lot of work, but it's totally worthwhile. And if you do it my way, the CRA knows nothing about your money. Can I avoid taxes if I'm working in retail? Not as you are getting your paychecks, no. But what you can do is have me do your taxes, and I can put forward every single expense that I'm legally allowed to put forward, which would be medical, T2125 expenses, part-time earning expenses, caregiver expenses, legal expenses. There's a lot. I can wipe out your entire tax debt by putting forward legal expenses. Let's see here. Fit Chick says, what are the proper steps to open up an American bank account in Wyoming? Yeah, okay. So it's WyomingLLCattorney.com, $95 to register a corporation, $350 US per year to use their address as your American address, $150 to get your EIN number. Might cost you about $400 if you go through a legal agent or a paralegal to get your ITIN number. If you know how to fill out the ITIN number form on your own, then it's free to do. Get the EIN under your corporation, get the ITIN under your name, get a bank account, transfer $75,000 US into that account, apply for an E2 visa. You'll get it within a couple of months. Congratulations. You can stay in the US for 3 years getting a business built. I know that's a very quick way to answer, but I got a lot of questions to get through tonight. Red Pelinia says, they're trying to collect $30K COVID loan for my partnership business that closed during COVID. We don't have the money. It went to employees. Yeah, so you got to, if it's a corporate debt, not in your name, you got to sell me that corporation. I'll take it off your hands and they can chase me for your CERB debt. And as soon as the CRA figures out that it's me, they give up. So sell me your corporation. My husband and I need a bank in Panama and would like to come down there. Well, okay, that's what we do. We set up bank accounts. So it's 5,000 US. You get a Panamanian corporation and the bank account open for you in advance. All you got to do after all that's done, come down to Panama. I walk you straight over to the lawyer's office. You do this. Ready? Watch. You go, woo. The bank account's yours and the corporation's yours. Congratulations. It's that easy. If I make $50 here and there doing side hustles, do I have to pay tax? I'm going to say it in French. No, absolutely not. Every single number that you put on a tax return is voluntary. Don't voluntarily give away information like that. Please keep your money. It's yours, not theirs. Crypto gains. Everybody, listen up. I say it every show. If you have crypto, shut up about it. Stop talking about your crypto. No, you do not need to report a crypto capital gain. Why? Because Bitcoin can drop $10,000 in 30 seconds and then go up 20,000 and then back down 40,000. You'll have capital gains and losses every nanosecond. Why would you even want to calculate that? And no, it's none of their business. And no, they don't know about it unless you tell them. The tax return is you and you and you snitching on yourself. Stop it. My God, everybody. No, keep your crypto. It's yours. If you're eager to give it to someone, give it to me. I deserve it more than they do. Maybe not more than you, but certainly more than them. All right, here we go. How do I avoid taxes for trading stocks and investing in crypto? By never investing in stocks in a Canadian exchange. That's it. American exchange, Mexican exchange. Go to Tokyo. Trade on the Nikkei. My God, like the Japanese are all about making money. That is a country that I just simply cannot wait to see. I got to get over there and see it. You know, public toilets that clean themselves every time someone's done. You know, they've got little yogurt packs. You go like that. You snap the top with your finger and it warms up the yogurt like soup in 5 seconds flat. They got stuff like that. It's incredible. They got traffic lights that talk to you. They got toilets that check your urine for diabetes and tell your doctor if you got diabetes from your pee. Like Japan is next level, man. But, you know, go there. And there's more out there, guys. Canada sucks. Go see the world. There's really cool stuff out there. Christine asks a question. How many people are on your team to handle all of your potential clients? 7 full-time, 3 part-time. Should be enough for now. Okay. Oh, for those who want consultations. Yeah, my God, I'm so sorry, folks. Look, we put 7 out for sale on Saturday and they were gone within 15 minutes. So I'm not going to be able to do 1-hour consults. What we're going to do is this. We're going to open up the floor to a whole bunch of half-hour consultations. But what that means is you're going to have all your ducks in a row before the meeting starts. All right. So mostly what happens during the 1-hour consults, this is me helping you out here, save some money, is a lot of people say, oh, Mr. Johnston, it's great to meet you and we're good to see you. Okay, don't do that. You don't have to tell me that you're a fan. It's cool if you are. But let's just get straight to business. My job is to help you, not have you pay me money so you can compliment me. My ego is big enough as it is. I'll compliment myself. You know, I'm like George Burns. Remember him? In every movie, he'd wake up and kiss himself in the mirror and kiss his own photograph and then kiss his own hand and kiss himself in the mirror again. That's me. I don't need the compliments. I'm okay. Straight to business. We're going to be opening up a whole bunch of half-hour consultations. But like I said, if you're going to be buying these things, be ready to go the distance. I'm here to help. I truly am here to help, and I want to help as many people as I possibly can. Just be ready to act. Okay, next, what we got? Questions? All right, for everyone who keeps saying that we don't return emails, at the beginning of my show, and I'm going to scold everybody now. I'm going to put it up one more time on the screen here because I was I brought this to everyone's attention so that everybody can get a sense of what I do go through. I want to help, but this is the email that I got sent yesterday at 10:23 p.m. The subject is corporate debt. The exact words, corporate debts / taxes bracket, including payroll. Need some help. 2 periods. Okay, what does that mean? I can't answer an email like that. So we've got a standard answer that goes out to emails like that saying, this is Kevin's assistant, and we don't understand what you want. And then people get upset about that and don't reply back. Well, too bad. If you're going to be upset with the fact that we don't get what you're saying, or I can't help you because you're not saying anything, that's on you. You got to tell us the whole story. Point form, concise, terse, to the point. Don't give me harangues. I don't need your life story. And when we're doing these consultations, everybody, I'm not your bartender. You don't need to sit there with a scotch telling me the tale of woe when your daddy took your dog away when you were 5, and then your bicycle fell over and the tire broke and nobody fixed it. And then there was that time your Auntie Sharon took away your favorite cake. I don't need that stuff. Come on, guys. It's money. We're talking about money here. So you got to help me to help you by getting to the point as quickly as possible. All right. So Aramas Dante says that you are fluent in Portuguese and Spanish. Very good. You can help me talk to the ladies down here. That'd be great. You know what? Scratch that. They're just a distraction. Never mind. Forget I brought it up. All right. Heidi says, I need a numbered corporation to protect my assets. Look at this. This is crazy. When you type the word assets on Instagram, it stars out the ASS. Are you kidding me? The word assets is what? Vulgar? Wow. Censorship's at an all new low. All righty. You want to protect your house? Your Revenue Canada says you owe them $100,000 and they fine 17 because you're accountant. She makes a good point. Your house should be in a numbered corporation. Your cars should be in a numbered corporation. Your life insurance policy should be in a numbered corporation. Everything you own should be in corporations. You should have nothing in your name. Nothing should be in your name, not even bank accounts. It should all be corporations. Excellent point. We can get corporations registered for you in 24 hours on my website. All right. Rick says, if I was to get people's companies assigned to me, what can I sell them to you for? Okay, so the way that it works, if you've got corporate debt, lots of it, I want to buy the company. I give you $1, a whole friggin' dollar. It's yours. All right. Frame it if you like. It's $1. I buy it for $1. In that, I'm buying your entire company, the whole thing. It's mine. Every single debt you have belongs to me. And why would I want your debt? Because I'm a debt broker. I would turn right around and sell that debt to another corporation out there. There's a lot of companies out there that make way too much money, and they're looking for capital losses, or they are looking for bad investment write-offs, or sometimes they're looking to play jokes on each other. The rich do weird things. All right. I'm not going to lie. The rich do strange things with stuff like this. I get paid. I don't care what they do. So my fee is you're buying all your assets back for 10% of the value of your entire debt. So Rick, if you bring those to me, there's high commissions to be made. You need your taxes done for corporate taxes. Okay, no problem. But we're booked until the end of September getting personal and corporate taxes done. There's been a lot of people in a lot of tax trouble. I can't wait to do your taxes for you. But also keep in mind, our AI tax system is going to be out in January of next year, doing your taxes for you right there on the website, making sure you pay $0.00. How does someone's small potatoes get through to me? Well, I guess the same as everybody else, but Yolanda, what does small potatoes mean? Could you clarify, please? What interest rates can you get in a Panamanian bank savings account? Anywhere between 4 and 12%, but you got to make a deal with the bank. The 12% is reserved for about $1 million plus in the bank. But the banking system down here is completely stable and safe. They've got all the online banking tools that every other Canadian and American bank has. And Mexico right now is paying 12 if you lock up, I think it's 250 US. So there you are. If you put $1 million in the bank at 12% a year, that's 120 grand a year. What if you compound that for 10 years? You could live off the interest. Does CRA ever go after former directors after you've purchased a corporation? Not with the contracts that I write. No, they can't. It's not possible. I'm buying a small business in Ontario. Do I file capital gains or zip it? Well, if you're buying a company, the only reason you would ever have to speak to anybody about it would be the law firm that's doing the contractual signing for you. If you're buying I don't know what the context is. Are you buying it for the assets? Are you buying it for the client list? Are you buying it for the property? What are you buying it for? I need to know a bit more information if you don't mind. Can we return a blank tax return? Yes. Name, social insurance number, signature, no numbers, not even a zero, just nothing. Send it in. Nothing they can do about that. If anybody wants to come and see me here in Panama, please use my website. Put the word Panama in the subject line when you use the contact form, and we can get you over a quotation to sit down with me for an hour or two, and we can iron out what you want to get done. Canola Girl says CRA wants to put a judgment on my home. Now, they're not putting judgments on your home. They're putting writs against you. You just happen to have a house in your name, and they're going to try to register a certificate on that, but they're going to do it utilizing tax court, which is not a real court. It does not have jurisdiction over equity. But the quickest way, Canola Girl, to solve that problem, we redo your taxes at a rate of zero. See, the reason the CRA is coming after all of you in your houses is because you did fucking tax returns in the first place and told the truth about what you make. Do you understand now what I'm saying about honesty? There is no reward for honesty when you're dealing with the Canadian government. All of you out there have tax trouble because you told the truth. What did it get you? A life of pain and misery and brokenness. And that is awful. So I'm telling everyone, shut up. Stop talking about what you have. If you've got assets, protect them. If you've got a tax debt, we have to wipe it out. Sue the CRA. You just learned how many crimes they commit. File criminal charges. We have to file motions in the courts to get rid of your debts. But I am only one man. I got a team, but we are only 10. You got to step up a little bit here. If you were to consult with me and saying, how do I get rid of it? And I tell you how to do it and you don't do it, that's on you. Because what happens in a lot of cases, everybody, people will contact me. They'll have a consultation. And then they think that I'm starting on the file and I'm doing everything right from that date. We've had some folks way back in the day when we were only charging $150 like a year ago. We'd have a $150 consultation. I would tell them everything that we had to do. We would send an official quotation in the thousands and say, this is how long it's going to take. Here's the price. And they would pretend to not see. They pretend they didn't see it. And then 4 or 5 months later, they call saying, why aren't my taxes done? And I'd go in the file and like, oh, because you never signed the contract. What? I paid you $150. We had a consultation. You promised to do everything. That's not how it works. We record every meeting for the purposes of transcriptions. That's what we do. And I never tell anyone I'm doing your taxes for free. That's not what I tell you. In that thing, in our meeting, I will tell you, this is what we need to do. This is what you need to do. And when you get me these things I'm asking for, this is what I can do. By the way, thank you for telling me, here's the price. And that is where people pretend they don't see it. And then they want to throw it on me to get their job done. And then people, this is what pisses me off the most. When people say, but you said you would do this for me. No, I quoted you a price to do it. You all know the way I talk. I don't sugarcoat stuff at all. I just come right out and tell you what we are doing. If you want to misinterpret my words, too bad. That's on you. That's not on me. Anybody who's here for financial advice, ask your questions now because we've got 10 minutes left. Turd Boy says, get a contact number in the trucking industry, collecting dividends behind. Okay, dividends, never do them. The T5 form in Canada has so few rules written about it in the Income Tax Act that the CRA taxes your dividends as high as 48%. And that's the T5 form. And accountants are morons. They will say, well, your corporation makes too much money, so we need to move some of your money into your personal name and record it as a dividend. Now you're paying 48% on that money, and CPP and EI and federal tax and provincial tax. So your corporation that was paying no tax is now forcing you to pay 6 taxes on your personal side. Don't do dividends. As soon as your accountant says do dividends, walk, dust them, drift, get lost, get him out of your life. All right, looking at some of your questions here. And Christine Lannon says, be concise, give me the numbers. Absolutely correct. I'm just going to have to block this cause and effect guy. We don't need any more trolls. Hold on, folks. And just like that, gone. No, guys, crypto, you don't pay tax on crypto. Okay, just keep your crypto to yourself. Be quiet about crypto. Oh, Gonzo says, you're buying a pizza joint. You're buying it in a bulk deal. I haven't taken possession yet, but soon. Oh, man. If you're buying it in bulk, I assume that you mean that you're buying a ton of assets in bulk. But is it a share sale or is it just an asset sale? Very important to know the difference because there's a lot of tax implications if you've got the wrong accountant in a share sale that's done incorrectly. Do you do any of your work for countries outside of Canada? You're in Australia. All right. So Dean, I've been asked this question a lot. The Australian ATO, the Australian Tax Office, they're like the IRS. They're pretty crazy, but they still are more like the CRA in Canada than they are the IRS because you got to remember, everybody, Canadian tax law as it exists is based on the British system. So is Australia, having been a Commonwealth country and still kind of technically still being one, but only technically. So there might be similarities. The problem is I've only met one Australian that has any balls so far. He's come on my show a few times, but he's not a tax guy, so he can't really help. Believe me, I would love to do that for Australians because even though the Australian dollar isn't doing very well in the world market, I would still like to make money worldwide. I would still like to be able to communicate with Australians who are having the same types of problems because it's a similar type of tax system, but I haven't done it yet. And I haven't read any tax law yet in Australia. So I gotta have to say no for now. But if you know anyone who's got balls, have them get a hold of me. I would love to talk with them. How much to use my address in Ontario? $700 per year. We will scan your documents and email them to you, unless you want them shipped to you, in which case it's a higher fee, $9.95, and we will wrap them up in a box and ship them all directly to you. All right. All right, just having a quick look here. Niagara Wow Tour says, CRAs after my CERB and partial CRB, even though made over $5,000, will be going to collections. Yeah. So for CERB, there's a series of 5 legal letters that I put forward to the CRA to get rid of the debt. It's $950 to get that done. And it works every time. And that's it. Takes about 6 weeks. Louis Dos 914 says, how much do you charge to buy my corporation? I got a call and email from your rep and told me 10%. Yeah, 10% of the value of your debt. So if you owe 100 grand to payroll, GST and whatnot, it's 10 grand. If you owe $1 million in debt, it's 100 grand. Just 10 points, no tax, flat rate, no additional fees, flat rate. We've got this down to a fine science. How long do we take to do tax returns? Well, once we get started, if it's not complex, 2 or 3 days. The thing is, though, we are booked and scheduled all the way into the end of September. So I wouldn't be starting any new personal tax files until October 1st in that range. So if you're not in a hurry, you might want to wait for our AI system to be up and running, which will be launched on January the 1st, where you just scan in your T4 slips and it populates everything. And then you just say, I don't want to pay tax. It adds all the expenses and voila, no tax. Tony, no, we can open up corporations in a day. No, it's the personal taxes that we can't get to till October. Any corporation can be opened up within 24 hours. What about recouping all the money from my company and CRA fraud bank freezing account? Millions paid in a decade. Outstanding customer owes $500K. Can you recoup it? Well, when customers owe you $500,000, you've got to file a lawsuit, pull them into a discovery, and then utilize the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act. I think it's Section 214 to freeze their assets and freeze their bank accounts and start taking your money back. That's a big, complicated thing. I would need to know the whole story before I bought that corporation. Super Effective Man says you do not pay CPP or EI on dividends. You're wrong. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? You should see how many times I have to deal with that whenever accountants go ahead and put all that on there. It wouldn't matter if the policy said no. What it boils down to here is what's going to get done. And you don't do taxes for a living. I do. I see this nonsense every day. It's a lot of work to fix that. No, the CRA is not connected to crypto.com. They're not connected to Binance. They're not connected to Kraken. They're not connected to anybody outside of Canada. The Canadian exchanges, like the former Coinbase, what's the other idiot? Oh, yeah, WonderFi, ShakePay, they're connected to those. I don't use those. We do help Quebecers. We move Quebecois. Register their corporations in Ontario. You should, if you're in Quebec, Revenu Quebec are insane. You need to have an Ontario-based corporation, do all your business through that corporation, even if you are in Quebec, everybody. And that's where I bought a house in Ontario specifically so you could have an Ontario address. You get your driver's license in Ontario. We get your corporation in Ontario. Start doing business out of Ontario, even though you are in Quebec. Don't ever register a Quebec corporation. That is moronic. It is going to screw you. It's going to bite you bad. Can I still do your taxes if the CRA won't let me represent? This is me we're talking about. You think I don't have a backup plan? Of course we can. My mother has liens from a 1995 on her farmland and owes RM tax? If a lien was placed on her farm, it would have had to have been perfected, which means a lawsuit would have had to have been filed. So that is one I would have to look at before I can just throw an arbitrary answer at you here. Wow. Well, everyone, it's a 2-hour mark already. This goes real fast. So I got to let everyone go here on Rumble and DLive and Restream. We're not on Facebook anymore. Zuckerberg doesn't like me very much, so he took me off of that. That's okay. I don't like him either. I think he's a fruit, and he's married to a stick. Anyway, folks, thank you for being here. My name is KevinJJohnston. This is the Tax and Money Show, which is every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk about all things crypto, all things cash, all things tax, all things money. FreedomReport.ca. That's the website, and I'll see you all in a week. Good night.